What's the most satisfying revenge you've taken on a classmate? We were never friends. Jake and I were just the kind of classmates who sat near each other in AP history, traded homework answers when it suited him, and ignored each other the rest of the time. He was one of those guys who always had something clever to say, the type who could crack a joke that got the whole class laughing while teacher pretended not to hear. One Thursday in November, we were discussing causes of World War I. I raised my hand and said something about how the web of alliances made war almost inevitable once the first shot was fired, but I guess I phrased it awkwardly, stumbled over a word or two. Jake saw an opening, loud voice, smug grin, whole class suddenly focused on us. Oh my god, are you actually that stupid? Did you even do the reading, dude? The laughter hit immediately. 25 guys finding something hilarious about my attempt to participate. Our teacher didn't even check it, just moved on like nothing happened. I was left sitting there with my face burning while Jake basked in the attention. I laughed it off in the moment, but inside, that stung hard. You know that feeling when you replay something later and think of perfect comebacks you could have said? I spent the rest of class thinking about what I should have said back, but I didn't say anything. Instead, I decided to wait. The thing about Jake was that he was smart but lazy. When our teacher announced our next assignment, I saw my opportunity. We had to form groups of 4 for a presentation worth 20% of our grade. Jake ended up in my group with Connor and Marcus. Not his first choice, but he seemed confident he could make it work. Our topic was proxy wars and global influence, covering Korea, Vietnam, and Afghanistan. I suggested we each take one conflict, plus I'd handle comparative analysis and slides. Jake claimed Vietnam. For 2 weeks, we met after school to coordinate. Jake contributed almost to nothing. He'd make vague comments about Vietnam and promise his section was coming soon, but whenever we asked specifics, he'd deflect. Don't worry, guys, he'd say with that same confident smile. I've got this covered. Vietnam is super interesting to me. 3 days before presentation, he finally admitted he hadn't written anything. I've been swamped with football practice, he explained, not looking concerned, but I can just wing my part. You know I'm good at talking. That's when I made my decision. I went home and revised our entire project. Instead of 4 sections, I restructured it as 3 conflict analysis. Jake's contribution was completely removed, not reduced, but entirely absent. I updated slides, printed the report with 3 names, and prepared documentation of everyone's contributions. Presentation day arrived. Jake started to join us, but I told him to hang back. We restructured the presentation. I said, "You'll want to hear this part first." Looking confused, he leaned against the wall while we delivered our analysis. When we finished, teacher asked, "Where's Jake's section on Vietnam?" I handed him our documentation folder. Jake didn't complete his assigned work. We felt it was more honest to present what we actually accomplished. Dead silence. Jake's face went through confusion, realization, then panic. "That's bullshit," he said, standing straighter. "I did work on this. I was going to present Vietnam. Do you have notes? Research?" Teacher asked. Jake looked around desperately. "I was going to speak from what I know. I've seen every Vietnam movie." Teacher reviewed my documentation, meeting attendance, emails, drafts. The pattern was clear. "Jake, you're failing. The rest get graded on their presentation." After class, Jake caught me in the hallway, more pissed than confused. "What the hell, man? Why didn't you tell me you were going to throw me under the bus?" I stopped and looked at him directly. "Didn't think you wanted my input. You said I was stupid, remember?"